Okay, so this is the question here. Now, from yesterday, I saw reading these long essays is a problem. Can someone read for me just the first two paragraphs there? Then I'll pick up once you end on the second paragraph. I'll pick up from there. Excuse me. Can somebody read? All right, thank you, madam. Yes, I think I was yeah the word collated. I've never heard of that word. All right, so yeah, so colleagues here, this company is making batteries. All right, it's got four departments. All right, now as you can see, we have overheads here. Okay, here this is to confuse you. Okay, remember this is accounting for overhead. So if you see direct materials, you ignore. Okay, we are only dealing with these indirect costs. These are the overheads. All right. So here, what we're aiming to do is want to find how much it costs to make one battery. So we are going to go through the process of overhead apportionment. If there's any here, there was no allocation. Okay. So here it's just straight apportionment. We're going to go through first the overhead apportionment. Colleagues, what I mean by the overhead apportionment, it means these these charges here, we are going to share them amongst these four departments. Okay, we're going to share them amongst these four departments so that we can get the total overheads for each department. So, this additional information here, why it is there is because this additional information is going to help us share out these costs. Okay, so we're doing the first stage. Okay, and this is a kind of a long process and everything, so we'll do it stage by stage. First, there'll be the overhead apportionment. Then, stage two, we have to reapportion the overheads, meaning with the overheads from the service departments, we're going to have to reapportion them back to the production departments because these service departments aren't directly involved in making the car batteries. They help the mixing and assembly, but they're not the ones who are making the batteries. Okay, that will be the second stage, reapportionment. Then the third stage, after we have reapportioned the overheads, we're going to get again the grand total overheads for the production departments. Once we get the grand totals for the overhead for the production departments, then in order to get our overhead cost per unit, we're going to select an absorption base. How we're going to absorb the overhead. So the absorption base can be the number of units. So for example, if mixing, the total overhead is 1 million, And in order to get your overhead cost per unit, you say, okay, my absorption base is 1,000 units. You just divide that 1 million by 1,000 units, and you get your overhead cost per unit. So we're going to go through, we're going to start with stage one. Stage one is the apportionment of the overheads. Okay, meaning we are sharing these overheads to these departments. And in order to share these overheads, we're going to use this information here. Okay. Yes. So we'll start with part B. Using the step-down method of overhead reapportionment, determine the overhead absorption rates for the production departments. Okay. So the overhead absorption rate is think of it as the overhead cost per unit. Remember that, colleagues. Overhead absorption rate, same as overhead cost per unit. So the step down method is going to come in stage two. We can't start with the step down method yet. We have to do stage one, which is the apportionment. Okay, colleagues. So stage one, apportion. Stage two, reapportion. Stage three, get the grand totals. Select an absorption base so that you get your overhead cost per unit or your overhead absorption rate. So this is how we are going to share out the overheads. So let me just get the budgeted information properly. Okay, so we'll be using this table to help us decide how to apportion the overheads. So the first overhead which we need to reapportion is indirect materials. Oh, let me just also get the other table so that this part here, just put that there too. Yes. So the first overhead we need to reapportion is to apportion, is this indirect materials, which is 1 million. We have to share it out amongst mixing, assembly, stores, and maintenance. So we come to this table here, okay, and say what is going to be the suitable base for apportioning indirect materials. Okay, so here when you're choosing it, there are no standard rules, okay, but you have to choose something that's directly related to that overhead, okay. So if we want to apportion indirect materials, okay, we wouldn't use number of staff, right? We wouldn't use area square meters. We wouldn't use machine value. Okay, we wouldn't use indirect labor hours. But something that's in line with indirect materials is the number of store requisitions. Okay, because when you're doing store requisitions, you're requesting for materials. So these can be direct and indirect materials. So this is the base we are going to use to share out indirect materials. Okay, colleagues, we want to share out indirect materials. to each of the four departments. So we're going to say which suitable base are we going to use to share it out. And we say, okay, the suitable base is the number of store requisitions. That's the suitable base we're going to use to share it out. Any questions before I proceed? You choose something that's in direct relation to it. Okay? Yes. Okay, for example, uh, indirect labor here, we've seen we've got indirect labor here. So here you've got indirect labor hours. Okay. So you use indirect labor hours. Wages, I've never seen wages in this additional budgeted information. You rarely see wages. Okay. If it's for direct labor, it will be direct labor hours. You'll find the direct labor hours there. If there's no direct labor hours, you have to look for something that's in close relation with labor. So here, there's nothing for memorizing it. Okay, next time I see this one, it's this one. No, you just, here it's just a matter of just using logic and saying, okay, this one is the most suitable one to use. Okay, so for indirect materials, we use number of store requisitions because store requisitions are for when you're requesting for materials. So now this is how we're going to apportion now. In this question, okay, they've already given us the total. Sometimes you're not going to be given the total. Okay. Sometimes you're not going to be given the total, but here you have been given the total. All right. The total is 10,000 store requisitions. Mixing has 3,500. Assembly 4,000. Stores 1,000. Maintenance 1,500. So if this total wasn't given, you would have added them first. You add one. You get what are the total number of store requisitions. You add them and you see, okay, the total number of store requisitions is 10,000. So after you get the total, this is how you are going to reapportion. And not reapportion, apportion. Okay, so for mixing, what you're going to say, out of the total 10,000 store requisitions, mixing has 3,500. So you say 3,500 over 10,000 multiplied by 1 million. Okay, you say mixing has 3,500 store requisitions. The total number of store requisitions is 10,000. So you say for mixing 3,500 over 10,000 multiplied by 1 million. Colleagues, what's when you divide 3,500 by 10,000, what you get? I believe so. Colleagues, are we seeing my screen? It is because it's very vital my screen is showing. Are we always seeing my screen? Yeah, for cost account. Oh no, yeah, it's shown to me. It's shown that it's disappeared, and yeah, okay, okay, okay. Anyways, this is a recording, so you'll be able to see. Yeah, just for now, just hang on tight. Okay, hang on tight. Yes. So as I was saying, we are first we are starting with mixing department, right? Remember, we're sharing this 1 million amongst these four departments. So we want to find out of this 1 million, how much does mixing get? Out of this 1 million, how much does assembly get? Out of this 1 million, how much does stores get? Okay. So to find out how much mixing gets, since we're using number of store requisitions, mixing has 3,500 store requisitions out of 10 out no, yeah, out of 10,000 store requisitions, mixing has 3,500. So you say 3,500 over 10,000 times 1 million. What do we get? 350,000. So on the mixing department, you put 350,000. Let's see if I can transfer this to the board. It might be easier. Here, drawing this is a bit tricky. Let me take it to the board. At least on the board, I think it will be easier. Because on Word, it's giving challenges. Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah. So as I said, we're apportioning indirect materials, and the basis of apportioning it is store requisitions. Okay, so for mixing, we said three thousand five hundred. Yeah, 3,500 over 10,000 multiplied by that, we get 350,000 here. So now we go to assembly. Okay, assembly, it's got Out of the 10,000 store requisitions, it has 4,000. So you say 4,000 over 10,000 multiplied by 1 million. Okay, 4,000 over 10,000. One way to also make life easy, colleagues, we can convert these into percentages so that once they're in percentages, you just say, okay, this percent times that, you get the value. This percent times that. Is it okay if we convert them into percentages so that we make life easy? Or just like this is okay? Okay. Okay. So for here, this 4,000 divided by 10,000, that is 0.4. So that represents 40%. Okay. Mixing 3,500 divided by 10,000, 0.35, that's 35%. Okay. So it's like out of this total 10,000, mixing gets 35%, assembly gets 40%, stores will get 10%, maintenance will get 15%. Was I too fast or is that okay? Assembly 4,000 divided by 10,000, 0.4, meaning it gets 40%. All right, so you say 40% times 1 million. What is 40% times 1 million? 400,000, yes. Yes. Assembly gets 400,000. Then if you come to stores, stores has got 1,000 requisitions. So you're going to say 1,000 divided by 10,000. That is 0.1. That represents 10%. Okay. So 10% of 1 million, 100,000. Maintenance, you say 1,000, since it has 1,500 store requisition, so you say 1,500 divided by 10,000. That is 0.15, which is 15%. 15% of 1 million, 150,000, right? So notice if you add 350,000 plus 400,000, 750,000, plus 100,000, 850,000, plus 150,000, you get 1 million. So there is a way to check if you are doing things correct. When you've shared out the costs, they should direct you back to the total amount that you're sharing. If it doesn't, then you've done something wrong. Any questions? Okay. The next one we have to share out is rent. Colleagues, what basis are we going to use to share out rent? This 750,000. Are we going to use number of store requisitions? Does that sound? Are we going to use number of staff? Are we going to use area square meters? Yes. So for rent, it's area square meters. So it's the same process again, okay? Here, goodness is they've already given us the total area square meters, 2,000, okay? So it's a matter of putting them in fractions now. So for mixing, let's see, where can I put this? For mixing, you're going to say 500 over 2,000. That should be 0.04. Let's see. No. What is 500 divided by 2,000? So 25%. So 25% of 750,000, or 0.25 times 750,000. You can even just use the decimal. So 0.25 times 750,000. Okay. 180. Okay, 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 okay. All right. Next, we go to assembly. Assembly has 1,000 square meters. So we're going to say 1,000 over the total number of square meters, 2,000. That is 0.5. 0.5 multiplied by 750,000. Okay, then you come to stores. Stores has 250 square meters. So you're going to say 250 over 2,000. What's that? 0.125 multiplied by 750,000. Yes. Maintenance also It's also 250, so it's the same 0.125, so 93,750. 93,750. Yes. Any questions, colleagues? Okay. As I'm eating my supper, I'll be still here on the call, but I'll be eating my supper. We apportion electricity. Okay. We apportion. The next one to apportion is electricity. Okay. So electricity, what are we going to use as our base of apportioning, or our basis of apportionment? Yes, kilowatt hours consumed. So get your papers and pens, so that so electricity kilowatt hours consumed. So the total kilowatt hours consumed are 413 kilowatt hours. So for mixing, 138 over 413. Assembly, 225 over 413. Stores, 25 over 413. And maintenance, maintenance, 25 over 413. So let's tabulate. I've already got my answers. Okay. So just get a paper and pen, make a small table like this as I eat. Okay. I'll mute my mic. Miss Austin, can you take control as I'm eating? Then I'll get back once I'm done. Mhm. Oh, you don't have a paper and pen? No? Yeah, who is okay, Mr. John, since you are seeing the thing clearly, will you do the honors? Yes. Okay. Where you mess up, don't worry, I'll come in, okay? Okay. Let me just mute my mic. Okay. So yeah, I'll be listening in. Maybe. Mm-mm. Yes. Continue, Mr. John. Continue. Say it again, sir. Okay, okay. Okay, yes, we are done. So what's next is we total up. Okay, we total up. Let's see, did we get our totals down? So, like for mixing, you say 350,000 plus 187,500 plus 167,000 plus 112,500 plus 206,500. Yes, what value are we getting? Let's see. No, 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 no. Let's see. 350. Uh-huh. Yes. Yeah, I missed the number. I think it's the 206. Huh? Okay. All right. Are we all getting this number? Okay. Assembly department. So we start 400,000 plus 375,000 plus 272,500 plus 87,500 plus 137,942. Uh-huh. Let's see. Sure. Is everyone get? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Is everyone getting that? Uh-huh. Okay, we are close, yes. What hmm. Okay, on electricity it was 225 over 413 times 500,000. Think maybe I round it off quickly. Multiply that by 500,000. What do you get? Mm-hmm. 397. Okay. Indirect labor. Okay. 40 divided by 240 times 826 uh-huh, like this. Okay. So now, okay, let's get the true figure then. So 400,000 plus 375,000 plus 272 397 plus 87.5 plus 137,666. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. Okay. We move on to stores. 100,000 plus 93,750. Okay. Can someone on the side, can you calculate if this one is also accurate, this 30,500, before we go further, so that once we tabulate everything, we just get one fig. So I want to make sure I never rounded off too early on this one also. Someone on the side, 25 over 413 times 500,000. What did you get? I'm just saying this tabulation here, this one here, is it truly giving us 30,500? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Okay. So plus 30,266 plus 22,500. Someone on the side, just make sure this one is also accurate. 48 over 240 times 826. Is it giving us this 162,500? Okay. Okay. So we can total them up. So plus 165, 200. Hmm. Is everyone getting that? Okay, let's start. Miss, Miss Austin, here, 100, yes, 100,000 plus 93,750 plus 93,750 plus 30,266 plus 22,500 plus 165,200. 716. Okay. Then finally, because I believe people are starting to doze now, let's tabulate the final one. Oh, okay. Okay, wonderful. Maintenance, 150,000. Let's wait before we go there so that let's just make sure this uh, It was on electricity where we had the discrepancies, right? So here it has to become 30,266. 266. This one, 92 divided by 240 times 826. What value are we getting here? 3166, huh? 33. Okay. So now let's add now. 31633 plus 27,500 plus 30,266 plus 93,750 plus 150,000. Is it confirmed? Is that what everyone else is getting? Are you getting a different figure, madam? Are we all getting that figure? 316 33 plus 27 5. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Yes. So we are done with stage one. Okay. We've apportioned the overheads to each department. Next time we meet, we begin stage two, where we reapportion the overheads for the service departments. The reason why we do that is, as I said, these service departments do not actually produce the goods, they support the production departments. So we are going to need to reapportion these total overheads for the service departments. We're going to have to reapportion them back to the production departments. And that's where the step down method is going to come into play. So, thank you, colleagues. We meet. We meet. Oh, but yeah, any questions before we go? Any last clarifications? Okay. Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy work tomorrow in the morning. Tomorrow to be macroeconomics. Good night.